authentic. I'm going to look now at transparency. And Z actually do that pretty well. You know, they're pretty transparent about their program and their path and where they are on a sustainability journey. And that's a really important part of the solution too. Internationally, as well as here, people are increasingly aware that every time they buy a product and service, it has an impact. It's pretty hard to hide from that anymore. And so what trendwatching.com have recently published is a whole new megatrend. It's the latest megatrend on their website, if you go to it, looking at the large-scale international consumer demand for guilt-free stuff. So they've identified that shoppers are doing a balancing act. They're not quite ready to stop buying things yet, although we do need to get them buying less. They're not quite there yet, but they do not want to be landed with guilt every time they make a purchase. So they are actively seeking out things that will assuage their guilt or make them feel good. And also, according to the biennial benchmark from HEC, EcoVadis, sustainable procurement was a top 5 priority at more than 90% of the 3,500 firms that participated in their survey. So it's not just consumers. Big business buyers care about this stuff too. And those growing businesses and consumers who want to buy more socially and environmentally products and services are getting increasingly discerning. So it's not just enough to have kind of a fluffy promise. They want to know the detail of what they're getting themselves in for when they buy. And information needs do vary. So these beautiful few New Zealand blue ducks, you know, some of them, they want the simplest information. They're just paddling, like the little duck on the left. They're just getting their feet wet. They just want some simple information. But there are increasing numbers of customers, like the little duck in the middle, who are swimming. And they're quite happy to swim through information, and they want more, and they want to go a little bit deeper. They want a couple of pages of depth on your website to click through to. And then there's the real data nerds who are doing a deep dive. And they will go right into your sustainability report. They will want detailed third-party analytics. And so when you're planning your transparent green marketing communications, you need to think about those 3 different depths. How to give the customers who are just wanting to paddle enough to feel quickly confident. They want a quick snapshot. That's where things like a stamp and a label is really important. For those who are more confident and they want a little bit more, and then for those of us, and some of us will be here in this room, who are actually going to do quite a grilling, and if you're going to make green claims, you'd better make sure they stack up, because they are going to be looking at your data and looking at your reports. And there's increasing tools now like smartphone apps where you can zap a barcode on a supermarket and get a triple bottom line analysis of what that company's impact is, for instance. And so to do transparency well, you need to be specific, you need to be candid, and you need to make sure the information is credible. So specific, it's not good enough to claim your products and services is eco-friendly. You've got to say why. You've got to be transparent about why it is a better product or service. I mean, for example, we're working, Green Air are one of the sponsors here today, and we're working with them on an email newsletter for the new year at the moment about green walls. And in that, we'll be talking about how doing green walls well can reduce your dependency on air conditioning, for example. So we're doing that deep information so that we're specific about what the impact is, not just that plants are good for buildings. Also being candid, you know, we all know the system is broken, and I don't yet know of any business that is 100% eco-friendly. So communicating where we are on the journey, what our intent is, where we're going to go, is really important. Puma gained international media coverage last year with their total footprint reporting, which shows warts and all for every stage of their life cycle, what they're doing. And I heard just last week that they've now open sourced that methodology so that total transparency of reporting is now available to many more than it has been before. And credible. So with increasing customer knowledge and actually valid skepticism about claims, you've got to give people a reason to believe you. Got to give people a reason to believe your claims. And that might take the form of your founder's pedigree. They may have a great track record. Or it might take the form of external endorsement. But the most powerful credibility does come from third-party certification. And Dole knew this when they chose to launch their ethical choice labelling, because they made it look as if it was a third party. And that was partly why the Commerce Commission held them to account. And they said consumers potentially risk being misled because by putting an ethical choice label on, you are making it look as if that is a third-party endorsement. And theirs was a reaction, you know, when When the Oxfam report had come out and they had pulled their ethical choice, Dole New Zealand rang and they said, you know, we perhaps ought to be talking to someone from a marketing perspective who knows this stuff. And I said, no, you need to go and talk to the workers who grow your bananas, and they know what you need to fix. But they did tell me in that conversation that they specifically launched ethical choice as a response to all good bananas who had come out with a fair trade certified banana. So they tried to gain the credibility of a certification without doing the hard yards to get there, and it hurt them. It's hurt them in a lot of brand damage over the last year. So genuine third-party certification does come at a cost, but it should be seen as a marketing investment for those organisations who can afford to make it. And as customers become increasingly savvy, they want organic products with a BioGrow or an Assure quality logo on them. And I should declare at this point that GoodSense has done work with both Fairtrade New Zealand and Carbon Zero in the last wee while. So, you know, we do work with certification agencies, but I've been promoting third-party certification since, you know, 2007, 2008. So it's something that precedes before it, because it gives customers certainty and makes you more credible.